Natural design might have come straight from the Gulag. It at least promised warmth. Holborn Station. His home away from home for more than 2 weeks now, yet he still felt as displaced as he had on his first awkward day. And as angry. Returning to Scotland Yard from paternity leave in mid-February, he'd found his office empty. He'd been transferred from his long-time job as head of a homicide liaison team at the Yard to an area major incident team based here in Holborn. It was a demotion, although he had kept his rank. There had been no warning and no explanation. His immediate superior, Chief Superintendent Dennis Childs, had been called out of the country on a family emergency. That had added a second worry atop the first, as Kincaid and his family had been letting Childs' sister Liz's home in Notting Hill, while her husband worked a 5-year contract in Singapore. Kincaid had come to like Liz Davies, although they had only communicated via email. He hoped that the out-of-the-country emergency didn't include her. With Kincaid's transfer to Holborn, Doug Cullen, Kincaid's detective sergeant, had been moved into a data entry job at the Yard, ostensibly to accommodate his recovery from a broken ankle. Now Kincaid faced adjusting to a new job without Cullen's capable, nerdy presence. Losing a good detective sergeant, a partner with whom you spent more hours than you did with your spouse, ranked in his opinion close to divorce on the scale of life disruptions, and there'd been no compensating honeymoon with his new team. As if conjured up by his thoughts, he glimpsed his new detective constable, George Sweeney, trotting down the steps of the LA fitness gym across the street from the police station. Fresh from his morning workout, Sweeney wore a 3-piece suit that was too expensive for a constable's salary, and no overcoat. His short hair was still damp and trendily spiked, his cheeks red from his healthy exertion. "Morning, Governor," Sweeney said, overly hearty, as they both reached the station entrance. "You look like death warmed over," he added, squinting at Kincaid. "A little too much partying?" Sweeney added with a wink, and what came much too close to a nudge. By God, the man was irritating. "Sick child," Kincaid said shortly. Their 3-year-old foster daughter Charlotte had a bad cough, and he and Gemma had taken turns to sit up with her. "Oh well," Sweeney shrugged, "that means the day can only get better, right, Gov?" Kincaid felt a sting on his cheek, and then another. The lowering sky had begun to spit sleet. "I'm not wearing a bloody cardigan," said Andy Monaghan. His face was set in the mulish expression Detective Sergeant Melody Talbot had come to recognize in the less than 2 months they'd been a couple. It had taken all her powers of persuasion to get him into the trendy clothing shop in Soho. As Andy studied himself in the mirror, she crossed her fingers behind her back. At least he hadn't taken it off. He lifted a lapel, his lip curling in distaste. "I look like somebody's granddad. All I need is a regimental tie." In his late 20s, with rumpled blonde hair, dark blue eyes, and a face that might be thought pretty, if not for its intensity, Andy looked like a rock star girls would swoon over. "You roll up the sleeves and wear it with a white t-shirt and Levi's," Melody insisted. "And you certainly don't look like my granddad." He refused the flirtatious bait. "I look like Liberace's granddad. The damn thing is baby blue. No rhinestones, though," she said, grinning, "and it brings out the colour of your eyes." "Besides," Melody added, going in for the kill, "you can't possibly let Poppy outdo you. Trust me." Andy gave her an assessing glance. "You're the woman who wears super detective suits to work. I should trust your fashion advice?" But his mouth had relaxed, and there was a hint of a twinkle in his blue eyes. "If I buy it, will you come to the gig?" "I'll be there. I promised I'd come." The gig in question was late that afternoon in the main concourse at St. Pancras International, part of a March festival featuring hot indie pop and rock bands. There would be live radio coverage.